YouTube, I just wanted to be real quick because one of my favorite Instagram dudes, he always spread knowledge to the ladies, and I think I did a video with the devil will never tell you that they're a devil, but there's two things I wanted to share. So one post I saw about narcissism, and narcissism comes in very multiple forms. The quick version is a person who don't take accountability. That's the best way, my definition I would say, for a narcissist. Someone who they're aware of what they're doing but just don't care. They lack empathy, and a lot of people want to say, I personally don't feel it's a mental disease. I don't feel like it's a mental disorder. Some people are just born evil, and I think we need to accept that. We need to stop calling everything a mental illness. Everything is not a mental illness. Some people are just assholes, right? So a perfect example, like someone could put you down for no reason, and you could tell them, hey, I don't appreciate what you said. So a narcissist or somebody that lacks empathy, they'll say, oh, well, they'll say something like, oh, well, I'm not apologizing for the message, but I'll apologize for the delivery. Like, I don't know if I told y'all about this guy I met on Facebook back in 2021, and he had a lot of issues, but the way he was talking to me, I knew it wasn't normal. And one of the things he said was, he like apologized via text, but I didn't accept it because you're crazy. For you to go in on me because I failed a class, it just wasn't normal. And I knew that came from childhood. I automatically knew, like, somebody talked to him like that when he was a kid, because he was literally talking to me like a kid. So I just stayed quiet because I'm like, that's not him. That's just the demon in him talking. So I stayed quiet. And I cut him off, whatever. And that's when I found out in his book that he went to jail for child porn years ago. But I'll never forget what he said because it's so common, like very narcissistic. Oh, I'm apologizing for the delivery. I'm not apologizing for the message. That's not a real apology. Like, what? Like, I didn't ask you. My whole thing is, and I said to him in like one or two sentences, I didn't ask you for your opinion. You don't pay my tuition, and it's not that serious. Like, you act like it's my senior year and I failed the class. And even then, you still don't have a right to talk to someone like that. Like, he's like, oh, but didn't you say you wanted a mentor? Yeah, I said I wanted a mentor, but that don't mean that you talk to somebody like that. I'm like, you talk to your mentees like that? Like, that's terrible, like, to talk to people like that. And it just shows that, and I told him, I said, I really mean this with all due respect. You need help. You need serious therapy. Because if you could talk to me like that and you don't even know me, my gosh, like, how are you even walking on two legs? You get very hurt out here in these streets. You don't talk to people like that, like just going in on me for no reason. It was abnormal. I wish I was able to record the conversation. It wasn't even a conversation. I just let him talk. Like, and sometimes I just let people sometimes you just gotta let people win. If they want to win, it's like, you got it. I'm at that age. I'm like, you got it, man. If that's what makes you feel better. And the thing that they said was, that's so true. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. That's why I say, I don't feel like it's a mental illness. I feel like some people are just assholes. So somebody said on Instagram, the more nice you are to a narcissist, the worse their behavior gets. And I had my ex tell me something that I'll never forget. I was like, if somebody treated your daughters the way you treat me, how would you feel? Like, how would you address it? He's like, I would tell them that they stupid. So I'm like, oh, so you saying I'm stupid for being with you? Like, that's why he's an ex now. But he used to say stuff like that, and he was dead serious. First he was like, oh, my daughters would never be with somebody like me, or something he said like, oh well, they would never stoop that low, or they would never. And it's like he thought he was so much of a narcissist that, not even a narcissist, just an asshole. He thought that him saying that was making him look good. Like, you make yourself look stupid by saying that. Like, oh well, I would tell them that they stupid. Like, so you calling yourself a no good nigga, because that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you you're no good, because I'm saying to you, how if your daughters was with somebody like you as their father, and they coming to you and they telling you everything that's going on, how would you feel as a father? Like, my father had no clue. I was embarrassed, like, but I was like, yo, if they was going through something similar to our relationship, like, how would you address it as a father? If they came to you and was like, yo, dad, da 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 da. He's like, oh, yeah, they stupid for that. So he was called, he know that and that's the thing with narcissists or assholes, they know that they ain't good. So that response he gave was like, what? Or like, he was afraid to move a certain way or do certain things because he's like, oh, he was afraid his kid's mom was going to put him on child support. And he was like, oh, she's not stupid. I was like, so you feel like women who don't put their children's father on child support, you feel like I'm dumb because I don't put my child. I'm like, what? Like, how about I don't want drama in my life? How about I don't need his money? How about, narcissistic? But the main thing I wanted to say was that really caught my eye on Instagram today is the content creator. He said, you did not fall in love with him. You fell in love with what he pretended to be. And so I was thinking about all the times in my early 20s when I thought I was in love and whatever. And I haven't had those feelings for somebody in quite some time. But yeah, I could be honest enough to say it wasn't genuine. And yeah, I fell for something that they pretended to be, which isn't really love. And it starts to make you think with marriages and most long-term relationships, it's not really love. It's not, because when you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with everything about them, their flaws. You don't sit there like a woman who really loves a man. She not gonna sit there and try to change him. If you fall in love with a bum, I don't like bums, but some women do. But they try to get him a job. They try to change him. That shows that you don't really love him, because you would accept him as is and deal with it. But, or you have some men that they pretend to be a nice guy, whatever, and they're not, and they change. Remember I was telling y'all before, it's not that they change, that's who they are. And that's what he said. He was like, you fell in love with a mask. So that's my message for tonight. Like, really, especially my women that are 30 and over, really think about all your relationships, situationships when you felt like you were so in love with the person, and then when you really take a step back, you wasn't in love. You was in love with what he pretended to be. And yo, that's deep. That's really deep. Because it's like it was all a lie, smoke and mirrors. And those are my thoughts.